Welcome to the InFlow podcast. I am your host, Michelle Bosch. I see a gaping hole across society that focuses on the outer work and forgets about the inner work, when what we really need is to bridge the gap between prosperity and spirituality to live a life in flow, with inflows of light, inflows of cash, inflows of creativity, inflows of grace in our lives. Each week, join me for powerful messages and interviews that will leave you inspired and ready to step into flow in your higher work. So now, let's go. Welcome, everyone. This is Michelle Bosch, co-creator of the Land Profit Generator. I am super excited to have here with me today Megan Autrey, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let's just go ahead and get started. So, Megan, I know that you are a firefighter mom, that wife, mom to two little girls, an outdoor, enthusiast, that you do top level whitewater rafting, and you're an instructor, a guide. I mean, it's not like it's just a hobby, but you teach others how to do this. And that you've also been lately doing some full-time real estate investing, doing land flipping. So tell us a little bit about I want to go a little bit back into what got you to where you are right now, into the past, and tell us a little bit about how you grew up around money.
Sure. I was thinking about this last night, actually. When I grew up, my dad, I'm trying to figure out how in depth to go. Money was tight for us growing up. It was really tight. Mm-hmm. And even into my teenage years, my dad switched careers. He went into finance and he actually became really successful. But I think that tight mindset just really carried over for us. And so going into adulthood, I think it sort of stunted me a little bit. I've sort of had what I call like a poverty mindset, or a spirit of poverty, I guess, if you will, where, you get something and you kind of want to you want to hold on to it and you don't want to take any risks because that's scary. And mm-hmm. So risk taking was not something that I ever really did. I'm kind of a type A rule follower in the first place. So when it comes to money, especially, the way that I've grown up and the things that I learned even as a kid is like, you get it, you hold on to it, you save it. And so risk taking was never, yeah.
And for us as women, we're hardwired for safety, for security. So even, that kind of like compounds the effect of like, wanting to hold on tight versus sometimes allowing money to flow.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your journey in real estate, land flipping. How did you find land flipping? How did you find us?
That's a great question. I'm really thankful that I did. I'll start with that. Real estate is not, nor has it ever been in my past, a thing for me. My mother, actually, who lives locally here, she is a real estate agent, and but she's never really loved the showing and selling of houses. She loves the idea of flipping and just having a project. She likes projects. Mm-hmm. And I think she stumbled upon, Jack was speaking at a local realtor group or something along those lines. I'm not really clear, but that's how she found out about it. And then she went to one of the Land Profit Generator live events. She got really pumped up and she came home and was like, "You have to do this with me." And I'm like, I don't know anything about real estate. I'm like the last person that knows the first thing about real estate. She's like, "Well, but you're good at marketing and computers and stuff, and I want you to come along and do this with me." And of course I was like, this sounds too good to be true. And I don't even know what I'm doing, but yeah, okay, sure. I mean, at that point I was staying home with my kids, only working in the summer. So, I didn't really have anything to lose. And so that's how I found out about it.
So you go to that, you guys decide that this is something that you guys want to start with, and you go ahead and you start, and then what happens?
Well, being that I didn't know very much about real estate in general, a lot of the concepts were really kind of like just these bubbles in the air that I didn't fully understand. But I said, okay, well, I'm just going to do the steps and hope it works. Mm-hmm. And so that's essentially what we did. Unfortunately, we picked all the wrong counties and all the wrong places and sent, instead of testing and all of that, it was just a lot of money in places that was not a good idea. And so we did. I mean, we were faithful with doing it for about a year, and it was about 8 months. And then I said, there's got to be, we're missing something. We're following the steps. I'm watching the videos. I mean, I understand that I'm learning as I go. But
so were the biggest struggles finding the areas, or did you get any deals under contract, and then or some of this or selling stuff was what were the biggest struggles?
I would say just. The biggest struggle was understanding the process for me, at least. I can only speak to me. We did get a couple of properties under contract, and I said, okay, cool, we're going to sell it. And then I honestly, we had deals that we let go because I just didn't know what I was doing. And so, then we bit the bullet. We went to the fast track 2-day workshop. And after that, I was like, okay, I understand the process now. This makes sense. And that's when we really okay, all out, we're going to do this. And we decided to go ahead and just get the coach to have that professional guidance of somebody who does understand. And within, I guess, 3 months, we had deals, and now it's been deals. I mean,
Hall of Fame, induction, class of 2020. We want to bring in
Megan Autrey and Tina Johnson. So
Absolutely.
Here they are. Welcome,
they are.
Ladies. Welcome, Megan. Welcome, Tina.
Hi.
Super excited to just have you here with us today. And
congratulations.
Yes.
So how many months before you ended up saying okay, enough is enough. Let's learn this the proper way.
Yeah. So we, she said, she went in 18, bought the program, came home, and then I wasn't there. She's trying to sell me on it. You should do this with me. And I'm like, I don't know. But I said, what have I got to lose? So I started watching the videos. And after the first few, I was like, okay, I can do this. I mean, it's all laid out perfectly and step by step. And so I was like, yeah, let's do this. And so we started picking counties and sending out letters and going along.
And that was a disaster.
Well, it wasn't a disaster. We did a lot of things right, but we also did a lot of things wrong, but we didn't know what we were doing wrong. And so when we were starting and doing all the things, there were just certain nuances and indicators of the market and the areas and the counties choosing. I mean, so many little things in between where me having no prior experience in real estate and my mom being new to the land business, it was just, there was something missing. And so when we did go to that Maximizer workshop in August, that's 8 months after we started, that's when a lot of it really clicked for me. Oh, I've been doing that wrong. And okay, I need to adjust this. And then another month went by and we kind of looked at each other and we're like, you know what? We need the coach. We're either going to do this or we're not. Let's go all in. We need the coach. And within a couple of months after starting with our coach, Mike Smyer, who's amazing. Shout out. We had our first deal within the first 3 months of coaching, start to finish. And that first profit was, I think, 17 and a half.
Yeah.
17.5. And we were like, wow, okay, it works.
This works. But the funny part was that was the first one, and we had 3 more that week. Mm-hmm. We had properties under contract within 6 weeks to buy of starting the coaching. Right, we had 6 properties under contract, and then Mike just says, "Stay the course," and we did. We did exactly what he said to do, and he is such an inspiration and he's just such a cheerleader. Mm-hmm. We get a little bit down, and the last call we had before we had the sale, the sale of the piece of property, he was like, "You girls, you're so far ahead of it." He just was really just talking it up big, and then we got it. And what was really nice is this community just came up behind us and just was very congratulatory, made us feel so good and so accomplished. Yeah. And it wasn't just you and Jack, it was Mike, and it was the other coaches and other students. And it's just so nice to have this community to lift each other up.
Can you show your awards?
Da, 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 da.
There he is.
I should have had some music here or something to like really.
There we go. Beautiful. It's the Land Profit Gender under the Land Profit Gender coaching. It has the Hall of Fame. It has both of your names on there, and it says Class of 2020.
And I mean, for so many people, Megan, 2020 will be a memorable year, but I'm pretty sure that for you, I mean, it's going to be a very, very special year. Can you both ladies tell us a little bit about, your background, how you came to real estate, with what kind of experience? What do you ladies do?
And your story.
Yeah, your story.
Okay, so my background is I was a federal employee for 20 plus years and took an early retirement. And then I decided to get my real estate license, but I'm not a very good realtor. So I went to a couple of different events like you have with other people, but nothing clicks like this one because it's very personal. But yeah, we're originally from Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. So I worked down in the Pentagon for like my entire adult life. And I'm glad to be out of that rat race and glad to be controlling my own life. Oh, and by the way, last year when we saw you in Denver in 19 and you did the Hall of Fame, we looked at each other and said we want to be up there next year. That's what we told ourselves the 1 year goal was.
The power of vision, right? And you're not the only ones. Yesterday, Tyson and Sarah said the exact same thing. She said that she has she journals and she put it in there as one of her goals. The power of positive thinking, the power of vision casting,
of making decisions from where you want to be versus where you are right now. And that's, I think, a key ingredient. Megan, tell us about your outdoor enthusiast background. What do you do? Was this a side hustle, or how did you make it work?
Day by day. Yeah. So I had no prior real estate experience. I'm a mom of two little girls, 5 and 3. And my husband is gone often for days at a time. He's a firefighter. And so the only job I was working prior to this was during the summer. Been a whitewater rafting guide here in Colorado for 10 years. And I teach other people how to do that. And so you could say this was kind of a big switch as far as focus for me. And to be honest, it was more out of, if I don't do something, I'm going back to work full time. And the idea of not being able to raise my little girls was not something I was readily willing to just give up and accept. And so, mom found you guys and kind of brought me in, and I was a little skeptical at first, but once I got into the program and started seeing how this works and the way things go, I just was like, I think this could work. And so, yeah, we went all out. Well, I don't know if you're ready for this part of the story. We went all out and didn't do anything. And then we got a coach.
We heard it quite a bit. And that's why I was so adamant this morning about telling people that they're going to pay the price for coaching either way, whichever way you do. But go ahead. Yeah.
Now, Tina and Megan, I wanted to ask you, so what are you excited about for the future? How are you going to be closing more land deals in 2021? What's going to shift? What's going to be different? What are the goals? What are we shooting for? The stars, I hope.
I'm actually not, I know, don't shame me. I haven't finished setting my goals yet for 2021 because I feel like I might still be stuck in not dreaming big enough. My husband and I stayed up late the other night drinking wine, and we're like 1 in 5 year goals. And my husband, he was like, I love it. And he wants to come start learning this too. He'll be able to retire from the fire department in a few years. But he's like, we're going to be millionaires. Like I said, okay, 5 year goal. He's like, no, 1 year goal. I was like, all right, honey, cool. You're going to be doing this, and this.
But don't be scared. Don't be shy. I was just texting actually with Mike yesterday. You know what I mean? As far as goals, I'm like, I actually like putting unreachable goals on my vision board because it requires that we think about things completely different. And what you realize is that when a goal is really big, of a 10x, for example, in growth, it requires your mind to think completely different about how to get there, such that the 2x problems actually become incredibly small. And for me, I never want to have a bar that is so low just so that I can feel good about jumping a bar that was on the floor to begin with. You know what I mean? I always,
Yeah.
I like it hard.
Yeah, but that's actually, we have been, if you have failed, not you guys, but anyone else, if you have failed in the past, the tendency is to lower expectations for yourself.
That's
and to
true.
lower your dreams, right? And to have, like, when you grow up, it's like,
shrink.
I'm gonna to shrink so that you don't disappoint yourself, right? And that's exact wrong things to do. What Michelle was just, what you're effectively doing is you're setting your goal, like the pull-up bar in the gym. You put that bar on the floor. And then, of course, like the floor, meaning like the goal is to what? To not die. So then if the goal is to not die, then
That's me with pull-ups, by the way.
Then you like that?
With pull-ups, yeah.
Yeah, but then
Christina and I are trying to do that. Yeah.
Then you accomplish your goal, but that's not a good goal. The goal is not just to not die, right? The goal is to live fully. The goal is to dig out those dreams again. The goal is to dare to dream big. So when you guys have a dream of $1 million in 1 year, are you going to be disappointed and beating yourself and falling into depression if you only make $700,000?
No.
No, exactly. Right? Exactly. So that's the thing. Are you going to beat yourself if you only make $500,000?
No.
Right? That's exactly the point. So set those goals high, guys. Set those goals high and be okay if you don't meet them. At least you still exceeded whatever that ridiculously low expectation was that you have from yourself right now.
Now, you and Tina, have been already inducted into our Hall of Fame. And I just want to get an update as far as number of deals to date. How did you finish 2020, which was one of the most difficult years for a lot of people, and a lot of businesses went out of business. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people were really, trying to figure what's going to happen next. And in that year where most of the world was going through that, we're here creating almost like a freaking alternate reality and, your own economy, pretty much total cash confidence. So I want you to tell us, 2020, how did you end up in terms of number of deals and number of profits, dollar profits?
Yeah. Number of deals we had, 18, I think.
Okay.
At the end of 2020, our total profit, our net profit. So after closing costs and the marketing campaigns and all of that, our net profit was $177,000.
Woohoo! So 190 gross and 177 net. That is fantastic. Now, at the beginning of this convo, Megan, you were telling me, because I was telling you, so how has it been? And you're like, dang, Michelle, it's been crazy. It's been rough. And we all go through those rough patches, whether it be in our career, our businesses, our personal lives. And I then, was asking you, well, how would that have been, if you were not doing land flipping? And can you elaborate? And you don't have to go into detail and, anything personal, but just in general, what has it meant for you basically to have a freedom-based business so that you can go and attend to these other things that were happening in your life and know that you were still having that peace of mind from a financial standpoint and that cash confidence to still, at the moment that those fires were off, that you could, run towards a bigger future for 2021. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we, my family, we had kind of a rough start to 2021. So I guess maybe we're playing catch up from last year, which was a great year for us. But no, we just had some things come up and they required my attention. And I was telling my husband just the other day, I looked at him and said, if this was what we were dealing with this time last year, what would we do? Like, we would be losing sleep. We would be stressing out. I'd probably be losing hair. Who even knows? But, but now it's like you said, there's that freedom in knowing that, yes, it's a bit of a valley for me as far as my focus on the business, but I'm back in full swing now. And I can see, like, I'm not worried. I'm not stressed out. I'm not, it's just, I know the system works. I know how to use it. And, we've already got several more under contract. So I expect next month to be a really great month. And it does. It allows that freedom so that, if family or just whatever comes up in life, you're not.
Or we total our car, right?
Yeah. Or you total a car. I mean, who does that? But
I know that's something that Megan, is dealing with right now. And she's like, and I wasn't even going at high speed.
Like 5 miles an hour.
But and she was telling me, and right now, if you didn't do landslipping, you'd be thinking, oh my goodness, how are we gonna, afford and pay for a new car and so on and so forth, and especially, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, what's gonna happen there. So I'm so happy that everyone is safe. That yes. Everyone, that it wasn't something major, and it is something that, that you can recover financially quickly. I know you've mentioned that, you've been able to pay also quite a bit of debt, and that's also an incredible heavy burden that slows you down, that makes you heavier. Yeah. And the moment that stuff kind of like falls off, not just, from your credit, but just the mental headspace that it occupies, in your sleep and so on and so forth. You feel lighter, and you are lighter, to go out there and keep on, speeding and creating momentum, in your finances and in all categories of your life. I always say that a win in this category which would be the financial, has translated for you in the ability to have, yes, in difficult times, wins in others, because you've been able to shift your focus and your attention over there, without any detriment, to your finances, which it's incredible. Not a whole lot of people can say that. And dang, if that is not part of what you consider ultimate freedom, I don't know what is,
Oh my goodness. Just the mental piece alone. I remember before starting this, laying awake at night, thinking through all the things that need to be paid and how is it going to, all come together. And yeah, it's like this huge just weight lifted. It's like chains come off. I mean, you can have that time to dream and to scheme and come up with new ideas. And yeah, it is. It's what a blessing.
I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to get inflows of cash, inflows of light, and inflows of faith in your life. I welcome your reviews on iTunes. Please leave me a review and help me create an amazing community of women in flow. Thank you, as always, for sharing your voice by going to michellebosch.com and joining the conversation about this show. And while you're there, grab a copy of my 10 Commandments to Living a Life in Flow. You can also follow me on Facebook at Michelle Bosch and on Instagram at Michelle Bosch Official. Thank you very much, and until the next one.